The noise was deafening. The packed centre court crowd were going crazy. After a back and forth opening set, an ultra-focused Andy Murray was serving for first blood. It was the 2012 Wimbledon final. This was Murray's chance to win the Grand Slam for the first time and cement himself in history. There couldn't have been a tougher test for the Brit. He was up against the king of grass, the Swiss maestro, the 6-time Wimbledon champion at that point, Roger Federer. Murray wasn't swayed though. He wanted to make history in front of his home crowd, and Murray was staying composed, serving for the set. After the first 3 points, Murray was 30-15 up. Then, ace, 40-15, 2 set points. A steely Murray wanted this bad. Another good serve. Federer barely got a racket to it. Murray had won the set. He was a third of the way there. 2 more to win and he'd be the first British male champ in over 75 years. Andy Murray was born 15th May 1987 in Glasgow, Scotland. His mother Judy had played tennis competitively, and she introduced the sport to Andy when he was 3. Naturally talented and ultra competitive, Andy showed great promise from the get-go. The Scot was so good, by the age of 5 he was participating in competitive tournaments. By the time he was 8 he was competing with adults in a tennis league. Both Andy's parents supported him during his development, although the couple split up when Murray was 10. This was difficult for Andy, but he used tennis as an outlet and was improving rapidly. At 12 years old, Murray won the prestigious Orange Bowl. He was proving to be pretty special. During his childhood, Andy had also shown great promise in football, but he made the decision to focus his energy on becoming a pro tennis player. At 15, Murray took a big step in his tennis journey and moved to Spain to attend a respected tennis school. His parents ensured this was all paid for. This was a good decision too. Murray's game improved. Over the next few years, Murray started getting really good results on the junior scene. He even managed to win the 2004 Junior US Open. At this point, the tennis world, particularly in the UK, had become aware of this talented Scot. He was touted for big things. The pressure was on. Andy turned pro in 2005 at 18. In his first season, the lanky Scot showed glimpses of brilliance. Attaining a wildcard to Wimbledon, he made it to the 3rd round, becoming the first Scotsman to do so, although he wanted more. He also made it to an ATP tournament final and he beat the top 2 ranked British players at the time. However, throughout his debut season, there was questions over his physicality, particularly his stamina and durability. He had shown many instances of cramping and fatiguing in matches. Murray was desperate to compete at an elite level. He knew he had to develop his body. Murray had mostly just trained on court up to that point. This needed to change. He hired a full-time physical trainer and completely redesigned his routine. He began doing sprints, weights, yoga, anything he could to improve his game on court. He changed up his diet too, eating much more calories to build muscle on his slender frame. Over the next few years, this would pay off and Murray continued to progress in the pro ranks. By the end of the 2007 season, Murray was closing in on the top 10 and had 3 ATP titles to his name. It was the 2008 season though, where everything seemed to come together for him, transforming into a dominant force. In 2008, he won 5 tournaments including 2 Masters events. He also made it to his first Grand Slam final at the US Open, losing to Federer in straight sets. At Wimbledon, he made it to the quarterfinals too, captivating the British public. He amazingly ended the season in the top 5. In the next few years, Murray really established himself as one of the best in the world, regularly being grouped together with the big 3 in many conversations. Murray actually won the most titles on the ATP Tour in 2009 and broke into the top 2 during the season. In 2010, he reached the Australian Open final and won 2 ATP 1000 events, and in 2011, he won another 5 titles, including 2 more ATP 1000 events. At this point, he was getting consistently good results in slams too. Although he was up there competing with the best of the best, unlike the 3 tennis gods, Murray had no slams to his name. He made it to 3 slam finals, but was runner-up on each occasion. He also made it to the semi-final at Wimbledon for 3 straight years, but couldn't make it further. There was mounting pressure on Murray from the British public. With so much hope being pinned on him, more was expected of the Scot. He had to keep pushing to win a slam, to win Wimbledon. Murray was strong both physically and mentally, but had to now make tweaks to achieve his goals. Andy hired Ivan Lendl as his new full-time coach. He had gone through a fair few coaches at that point, extracting all the info he could. Lendl had followed a similar path to Murray, and their partnership could get him to the next level. Murray did well in the first 2 slams of the 2012 season, but again fell short on both occasions. Actually, by the time the Wimbledon Championships came around in late June, Murray had only won a single title. He even went out in the second round at Queen's, a grass court event held in the lead up to Wimbledon. Murray wasn't looking his best, but he knew he had to perform in front of his home crowd, and that's what he did. To his fans' excitement, Murray eased through the first 4 rounds, dropping just 2 sets. He was in the quarterfinals again and 3 wins away from sporting immortality. In his quarterfinal match, he faced the tenacious Spaniard David Ferrer. After losing a close first set, Murray won the next 3, making it to the semi-final for the 4th time in a row. This time though, with extra determination and Lendl guiding him, he managed to push past this round, beating Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in 4 sets. He made it to the final. He was in a position he had dreamed about as a child, men's singles Wimbledon final, and against none other than Roger Federer himself. The tabloids were back on Murray's side, and all of the UK were in anticipation of the final. The first set went perfectly too. Things were going to plan. All the dedication, meticulous preparation and hard work was paying off. The second set was a tense affair, but Murray still seemed to be getting the better of Federer. He had great chances throughout the set, but he couldn't convert any of the break points he had. The resilient champion Federer wasn't going to make this easy. After 11 games, it was 5-6 to Federer, still on serve. And then, almost out of nowhere, Federer turned up his game, going up 30-40. He converted the break too. 1 set all. In the third, they were again trading service holds until the 6th game. This was pretty epic. It lasted almost 20 minutes with 10 deuce points. Murray did his best to hold off an aggressive Federer, but ended up succumbing, allowing Federer to break and ultimately take the third set, 1-2 Federer. Murray continued to show his great fighting spirit in the 4th. However, a surging confident Federer broke in the 5th game and won the 4th set, sealing his 7th Wimbledon title. Andy was runner-up again. He gave everything he could, but Federer was too good, outclassing him. Post-match, Murray was noticeably emotional. Breaking down, he was unable to hold himself together. He had failed again. Was he destined to never win? To always fall short to these 3 tennis gods? I remember watching the final live and really felt for Murray. He seemed completely broken. Lesser players would have stopped believing, but not Andy. He stayed strong mentally. 2012 was an Olympic year, and the 2012 Olympics were in London at Wimbledon. The event actually started a few weeks after the end of the Wimbledon Championships. Murray had to bounce back from his devastating loss. This was a chance to right his wrongs, and he wasn't going to let this slip by. He went back at it full force, using his disappointment as fuel for the upcoming event. As a viewer, the event was pretty surreal. The strict all-white Wimbledon policy wasn't in place, so you were watching players in colourful outfits playing on centre court. I'm sure the players got a kick out of this too. From the start, Murray seemed to have a point to prove. He was smashing through the competition, showing why he was one of the best grass court players. After 5 straight wins, he again made it to the event final. During his run, he only dropped 1 set and beat Djokovic in straight sets. He now had the chance to win an Olympic gold medal. A familiar foe awaited him in the final. Yes, who else but Roger Federer. This was Murray's chance to exact revenge for his loss at the Wimbledon final that took place just a month previous. He wasn't going to fail again. Murray dazzled from the get-go, completely dominating Federer in most exchanges. This was something many people thought impossible against the grass court wizard. Murray again won the first set, this time by 6-2. He stayed mentally strong though and continued playing at a high level, using the crowd's cheers as fuel. A calm Murray broke early in the second set too. Things were looking good. Not content, Murray broke again and emphatically took the second. Murray seemed in control the whole time. He was a man on a mission. He maintained the momentum he had built and took the initiative in the third set too, taking that also. He had dismantled Federer in straight sets, 6-2, 6-1, 6-4. Andy Murray was the 2012 Olympic gold medalist. He wrote the wrongs of previous finals and proved to himself that he was capable of succeeding on the very highest level, in front of his loyal fans no less. His season still wasn't over though. The Olympic tennis event finished on the 5th of August and the US Open was at the end of the month. Murray entered the final slam of 2012 with one thing in mind. On the New York hard courts, a confident Murray eased through each round until he reached the final again against none other than Novak Djokovic. Just like with the Wimbledon title, the last time a male Brit won a single slam was over 75 years ago. Murray had another chance to make history. The final was a record-breaking near 5-hour epic. Murray won the first 2 sets, but the relentless Djokovic wasn't going to submit. He mounted an extraordinary comeback, winning the next 2 sets. This took the match into a 5th and final set. I'm going to lose again. I'm not going to be a slam champ. He's too good. All the negative thoughts had to be eradicated from Murray's mind. He had to compose himself and use everything he'd learnt throughout his career. Andy's mental fortitude was clear to see. He put an end to Djokovic's surging momentum and took the initiative in the 5th set from the get-go. Getting an early break, a calm and composed Murray held the advantage and closed out the match, becoming the US Open champion. He was finally a Grand Slam winner. Through all the trials and tribulations, he managed to achieve his goals. He cemented himself as a British great. What Murray achieved in the 2012 season really showed the world he could beat the best on the big occasion. When Wimbledon came around the following year in 2013, Murray was ready for retribution. He wanted to achieve his childhood dream. Murray made it all the way to the final again too, setting up another showdown with Djokovic. With all of the UK behind him, Murray played an exceptional game from beginning to end. His development over the past few years was clear. Murray shone. The fans in centre court and watching at home were at the edge of their seat. Murray was outplaying and out-hustling Djokovic. With constant pressure on the Serb serve, Murray broke and took the first set. Murray was actually down a break in the second set, but rallied back, breaking Djokovic twice and taking the second. The third set was very back and forth, with both players breaking each other on multiple occasions. However, Murray wasn't slowing down. He took the advantage in the closing stages of the third, and then, at around the 3-hour mark, Murray converted his 4th championship point. He was Wimbledon champion. He had finally done it. The crowd roared in appreciation for their new winner, a British Wimbledon winner. I remember being in awe of Murray that day. Through all the knocks, he had risen to the top, showing a true fighter's mentality. Dedicating his life to tennis had earned him eternal glory at the All England club. A few years later, in 2016, Murray won Wimbledon a second time. That year, he also won another gold medal at the Olympics, the ATP Tour Finals, and had got to the #1 spot in the rankings for the first time. He was at the top of the sport, and while competing against the 3 best players ever. He was also honoured with a knighthood by the royal family for his extraordinary contributions in tennis, and so received the title Sir. Andy not only established himself as a British legend, but solidified himself as one of the sport's all-time great players and competitors. I hope you enjoyed this video looking at Andy Murray's rise in the tennis world and his journey to becoming a Wimbledon champion. Thank you and watch out for more content coming soon. Bye guys.